I'm a man of science, not society. Now go study my brilliance. Go!
If you enjoy science and great storytelling, we've got you covered.
To science!
To science!
This is the Relativity Series from LA Theater Works and the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, bridging science and the arts in the modern world.
I'm Susan Loewenberg. The Galapagos Islands of Ecuador have long been considered a crown jewel of pristine nature. First made famous by Charles Darwin, who developed his theory of evolution while visiting the islands, the Galapagos have since struggled with their celebrity, trying to balance the desire for conservation with the demands of tourism and the needs of the local population. Playwright Michael Hollinger spun these overlapping tensions into a rich and compelling story, Tooth and Claw, starring Cynthia Watros, Jas Viramontes, and W. Morgan Shepherd. Directed by Jessica Kubzansky.
Simple. Everything starts out simple. With a word, a kiss, a single cell. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Like that. But things only start out simple. Very soon the cell divides. The words multiply. Protozoa become metazoa, which give way to invertebrates, then vertebrates, evolving from fish to amphibians, to reptiles, mammals, primates. And from so simple a beginning, everything gets complex. Her plane arrived on a Thursday.
Buenos dias.
Buenas.
I'm Dr. Baines.
¿Dónde?
¿Dónde?
¿Está aquí?
I'm sorry, I no habla español.
Doctor Baines?
Yes, your sign says Dr. Baines.
¿Dónde?
Wait a second. Where's that dictionary?
El vuelo aterrizó hace 20 minutos, pero no lo he visto.
¿Dónde?
A menos que el avión lo haya dejado.
I only know how to say hello, thank you, and I don't speak Spanish. ¿Dónde? Where? Oh, here. I'm Dr. Baines.
¿Usted?
Sí.
No.
Right.
No eres Doctor Baines.
Sí.
No.
Yes, I am.
No.
Maybe someone else can help us.
Un momento.
I would have learned Spanish before I came, but they wanted to replace Dr. Spencer right away, so I...
¿Ves? Doctora.
Doctora.
Doctora Baines.
Yes, doctora.
Doctora, sí.
I'm glad we straightened that out.
¿Cómo fue?
Never mind.
And so she came to Galapagos.
Las Encantadas.
The Enchanted Isles, or if you prefer,
Las Huérfanas.
the Orphans. 13 big ones, half a dozen little ones, each given birth in catastrophe when molten lava burst up through the ocean floor. As a Panamanian bishop, blown off course a few centuries ago, observed,
Parecía que Dios había causado que lloviesen piedras.
it looked as though God had caused it to rain stones. Creatures blew here too, over time. Those that didn't immediately perish, adapted, evolved, creating a fauna so unique it might have been dreamed up by Dr. Seuss.
Seabirds that forgot how to fly.
Iguanas that swim in the ocean for dinner.
Blood-sucking finches.
Penguins on the equator. We give them complicated names like Amblyrhynchus cristatus, but we might as well call them star-bellied sneetches. Creatures still blow here by accident, as I did, as did my daughter.
What do you think, Carlos?
It is difficult to say.
Those who adapt, survive, and multiply.
There are so many anoles that look alike.
Those who don't...
Esta es la doctora Baines.
Ah, bienvenida.
Nunca me dijeron que ella era mujer.
¿Cómo estuvo su vuelo?
No habla español.
Yet.
Oh.
I studied French in school.
That's not gonna help you here.
Of course, what I meant was...
No matter. Welcome to the Charles Darwin Research Station. My name is Carlos Zavala, vertebrate ecology and monitoring.
Oh, I've read about your work with the sea lions.
Yes?
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm surprised you weren't offered this job instead of me.
Yes, well, this is Ana Ortega, your secretary.
Encantada.
Pleased to meet you.
Gonzalo Reyes.
Buenas.
He keeps everything working. Incubators, outboard motors.
Toilets.
I'm working on it.
Whatever breaks, he fixes.
What's that you've got there?
My sister's husband found this lizard in a crate of oranges.
Can I see it?
We must be vigilant about all kinds of introduced species. I think it must be some kind of...
Anolis chlorocyanus.
Yes?
Endemic to Haiti, the Dominican Republic. You can tell by the blue dewlap. Sorry, fella. You don't belong here. You'll destroy him?
Of course.
Thank you. Hasta lavarse.
Hasta luego.
What did I say?
I think you said you would see him at bath time. Here, why don't I take you to your house and show you the rest of the
Actually, I'd
state?
like to see the tortoises first, check out the breeding center.
Oh, okay.
If I'm going to make a difference here, I don't want to waste a minute.
As you wish.
Esta es la última maleta.
Gracias, Pedro.
Buena suerte, doctora.
I'm sorry, what?
He says good luck.
Oh, gracias.
La va a necesitar.
What was that?
It's nothing.
The last part, what did he say?
He said without it, you are up the creek.
The corral on our right holds Lonesome George, the poster child of Galapagos. Lonesome George was discovered in 1971 on the island of Pinta, where feral goats had destroyed the native vegetation. Not too close, Kurt.
Oh, sorry.
No other Pinta tortoises were found then or have been found since, because the tortoises on each island represent different subspecies. There's a good shot. Scientists continue to seek a mate for Lonesome George, both on Pinta and in zoos worldwide. If they do not, his race will die with him. Kurt?
Sorry.
Okay, let's look at some baby tortoises.
Hola, George. What's for lunch? A toy? Go on, I won't bite.
You might want to try the opuntia instead.
Excuse me?
The cactus pads, they seem to be his favorite. Well, of course, sometimes he just doesn't feel like eating.
Do you work here?
Oh, no, I simply squander a few hours a week in the station's library. Not the reading room in the British Museum, but one makes do on an island. Today, I actually found a volume of Keats, next to Avifauna of the Eastern Highlands of New Guinea.
Come on, George. It's good. Bueno.
He's really very fond of opuntia.
All right.
There you see.
You seem to know him pretty well.
As old men, we have a great deal in common. And Thursdays, we read together. Forgive me, Malcolm Geary.
Oh, Dr. Geary.
Malcolm.
I had no idea you were still living here.
Yes, still here, still living.
I'm Skylar Baines.
Of course you are. The savior of giant tortoises.
Well,
We need you badly here. Your predecessor was a competent scientist, no doubt an adequate manager, but by nature he was moral invertebrate.
moral invertebrate?
There are forces at work on these islands. Spencer turned a blind eye, or worse. You'll need to have spine as well as vision.
Well, I hope I'm up to the task.
It's in your genes. I'm so sorry about your mother.
Thank you.
She will be greatly missed.
Yes.
Greatly. Hard to believe that she's no longer scaling cliffs, stealing eggs. Always data to be collected.
She talked about you often, right up to the end.
Yes?
I think she read every paper you ever published.
Poor woman. It must have taken years off her life. Now I'm prattling, and you with the fate of species in your hands. If I can be of any help to you, weighing, measuring...
Oh.
I'd rather be useful than decorative.
I assumed you specialized only in birds.
Heavens no, dear. I'm a dilettante. I dabble. That's my speciality.
Why, although Galapagos is a place with so many resources, so much history, so much potential, do its inhabitants have to suffer so much simply to survive?
Why, although I have begged this administration to satisfy your needs, do I not receive any answers? Regrettably, the president and his political allies on the mainland do not give us the value and respect we deserve. Sadly, they have exploited this pearl of Ecuador to profit from its tourism.
Buenas, Ana.
Good morning.
¿Cómo está?
I'm okay. How are you?
Muy bien. ¿Tienes una oportunidad para taper? Oh, no, that's French. Para...
Type?
Yeah, but in español. ¿Cómo se dice?
I finished it yesterday. It's on your desk.
Pero ¿cómo se dice la palabra?
What word?
¿Tú sabes typing?
Escribir a máquina.
Sí, escribir a máquina.
I also gave you an updated budget.
I'm sorry, can you listen to something else? Maybe some music I can bear? You didn't have to turn it off.
We only have one radio station.
Oh. Who was that talking?
Our diputado, Mendoza.
Diputado?
Like what do you call a congressman?
He sounds like he's got a chip on his shoulder.
What does he have on his shoulder?
A chip. You know, a chip like a... Never mind. Conseguiste algunas respuestas del Global Environment Fund sobre nuestro propósito?
I talked to the secretary who said that
Look, I know you're trying to be helpful.
No, I'm not.
I mean, speaking English,
I'm not trying to be anything.
Then why?
It hurts my ears when you talk so bad.
Well, I won't get better unless I practice.
So why don't you practice at home? Until you're better, we can speak English.
I need to practice at work. Cuando trabajo. Let's just speak Spanish in the office, okay? Claro?
Claro.
So, ¿conseguiste algunas respuestas del Global Environment Fund sobre nuestro propósito?
La secretaria dijo que iban a tener una reunión del consejo la semana próxima para decidir si van a financiar el proyecto. Si la respuesta es sí, conseguirá dinero para matar a las cabras alrededor de un par de semanas. Si la respuesta es no, todavía puede someter una oferta para el mismo proyecto durante el próximo año fiscal.
Más lento, por favor.
The secretary said there would be a board meeting next week. If the answer is yes, you will get the money for killing the goats in a few weeks.
Gracias. Though I'd prefer if you said removing the goats instead of killing them. Some people don't like the idea of killing mammals to save reptiles.
But you are going to kill them.
Well, sure, they're ravaging the island.
Then why don't you just remove them, like you say?
60,000 goats?
You have to use helicopters anyway.
What would we do with them? Open a petting zoo?
Have you ever raised a goat?
Whether I have or not.
They are very affectionate creatures. They would not hurt anyone.
Maybe not intentionally.
They wouldn't. If you raised a goat, you would know this.
They need to be removed.
Then you should say you are killing them and not be dishonest about it.
I see you're going to have a baby.
You must be a biologist.
When are you due?
Not soon enough.
Does your husband work on the island? I meant the father. None of my business whether you've got a husband.
Doctora.
Excuse me. I have to pee.
I thought pregnant women were supposed to be cheerful, Gonzalo.
Well, she's been down this road before.
Oh, I didn't know she already had...
No, not really.
Not really?
Her family in Manta didn't want to deal with it, so she had him adopted and came here. You wanted to see me.
Yes, I've decided to make some changes in Lonesome George's corral.
Changes.
First, I'd like to make it bigger. Can we knock down this wall?
The Española tortoises are there.
Then we'll have to move them. We're going to need room for his cabana.
Cabana?
Nothing fancy, just a simple structure so he can have privacy.
Okay.
Then I want to put him on a diet. Reduce the feedings to twice a week. Cut out the papaya altogether.
Dr. Spencer
Forget what
said...
Dr. Spencer said. If Lonesome George gets any fatter, he may have trouble mating.
Mating?
That's the biggest change. I want you to put 2 females in with him from Isabella Island. Pick the prettiest ones.
But
I know they're different subspecies, but dogs crossbreed all the time. No one's tried it with tortoises. If it works, big if, we can mate him with his daughters, then his granddaughters, great-granddaughters, till we get an almost purebred race again.
If you think it will work...
We have to try. He certainly won't mate while he's there by himself.
Then we will try it.
Bueno! Was there something else?
Have you noticed anything strange since you are here, Doctora?
Strange.
Out of the ordinary?
I've only been on the island a week. It's all strange.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
There is money changing hands. A lot of money. You have not noticed this.
No, I haven't.
You may want to notice it.
Why?
Down at the dock, look at all the new fibraglass boats. Dr. Spencer, he did not want to see.
See what? What's going on?
You should find out.
I'm trying, but you won't give me
Go down to the dock sometime. Stop by La Bodega Blanca. See what people are buying. Start noticing things before it is too late.
Chacolone elephantopus, the Galapagos giant tortoise. They've been mating like that for millions of years. Oh, not these same two tortoises. They're slow, but not that slow. How did they get here? No one knows for sure. We know how they left, however. First, in the holds of whaling ships, stacked alive upside down until the cook required fresh meat. Later, when settlers arrived, they brought in goats, which compete with the tortoise for food, then pigs, which eat the eggs, then rats, which gnaw the legs off hatchlings, and after a while, needless to say, it still takes two.
Hatchling number 58.
Just like people.
93 grams.
Curved length,
8.9 centimeters.
curved width,
9.6.
length of plastron.
7.2. Number 59.
Any new babies?
A look in the incubator.
86 grams.
Hello in there.
Curved length,
What a beauty.
8.7.
Look at the size of that yolk sac.
curved width,
I set a date next month for us to take the 5-year-olds back to Isabella.
9.7.
Not you. You have to grow up first. This temperature's too low. It shouldn't drop below 29.5 degrees.
the incubator has been giving us troubles.
I thought Gonzalo fixed it.
It broke down again last
This
night.
can't keep happening.
At least a quarter of the eggs will hatch.
That's not good enough.
It's been our average since
Average isn't good. That's why they call it average. Besides, if they hatch below 28 degrees, they're going to be mostly male, and we don't need more males. We need females.
It's the power surges.
I know.
They blow out the heating elements.
Yeah, but
Plus, the parts are expensive to get from the mainland.
believe me, I know. But we have to be smarter than our problems. If this incubator doesn't work, we should make our own. Find some reliable source of heat. Get a thermostatic
Skylar,
switch.
it is not that
No
easy.
excuses. If the populations aren't going up, they are going down. We can't wait till there's only one left on each island. It needs to happen now.
Fine. Length of plastron?
Look, I didn't
You
mean to
are the director. It's your job.
Of course, but I
It's
don't
your
want...
job.
7 centimeters.
Gonzalo, could you step out for a moment?
Sure.
I ran across your file this morning, Carlos. Number 60?
89 grams.
No one at the foundation bothered to tell me that you applied for this job yourself.
Curved length, 8.8.
I hope that doesn't make things awkward working for me. With me.
You know the foundation has never hired a director from South America?
No, I didn't.
From the US, yes. From England several times. Even France.
Why is that?
Perhaps they are frightened of setting a precedent. If it became known that one of us can do it as well or better, could they justify hiring another gringo? Instead, they send us an arrogant bastard who knocks up his own secretary.
Knocks up?
I believe that is the expression.
You mean Dr. Spencer?
You wondered why he had to go back to England.
At the interview, they just said he had
Health problems, sure. If he had stayed here, his wife would have cut off his balls.
What did they do with that? Electrocute them.
No. It's a transmitter. See? It goes around the neck of the Judas goat.
Judas goat.
Goats will always seek out their own. So to locate a herd, the hunters simply follow the signal.
Huh.
Buenas.
The callers came in.
Great. How many?
6 for now, with receivers.
Let's get the rifles here as soon as possible. Anna, can you talk to Ramon at the Park Service?
I don't think you are being fair to the goats.
I know.
They did not ask to be brought here.
Tell them we should order the helicopters now. There may be a wait.
I have to pee.
Haven't you emptied that bladder yet?
No jodas.
I will talk to Ramon today.
Gonzalo, I did what you suggested. Looked around the docks, went to La Bodega Blanca.
Yes?
Why all the chicken wire? Bundles of it. Strips of wood. Please, I'd like to know.
It has to do with pepinos.
Pepinos?
Pepinos de mar. You call them
Sea cucumbers.
My cousin says the fishermen here are taking many pepinos.
How many?
Maybe hundreds of thousands.
Good God, what for?
The Japanese pay big money. They believe it makes them,
Strong?
hard.
Jesus.
Pardon.
I guess shark fins and rhino horns just weren't cutting it anymore. Do they work?
Work?
Sea cucumbers,
It depends on who you ask.
I'm asking you.
All I can say is when my wife cooks pepinos, I know what she has on her mind.
Your cousin, he's one of these fishermen?
I really couldn't say, Doctora.
What's his name?
I really couldn't say.
Why not? It's not illegal to fish, even to make a fortune doing it, as long as they stay off the islands. They're not using the islands.
Pepinos rot very quickly, so they must be boiled and dried right away.
On land?
See?
Oh, Christ.
They can do it on the boats, but they are small.
Which
so
islands?
Fernandina, Isabela, wherever they are fishing.
Fernandina is pristine.
I know.
Scientists wait for months to get permission to
This
study
is why
there.
I'm telling you, so you will be aware.
Research station to Park Service. Come in, Park Service.
What are you doing?
People are allowed on 3% of these islands. 3%. The rest is mine.
Parque Nacional.
Buenas. Habla la doctora Baines en la estación científica.
Sí, buenas.
How do you say, can we use your patrol boat?
I don't know how much of this is true.
Then we'll find out.
Doctora.
Can we use your patrol boat?
Podemos usar uno de sus botes.
¿Podemos usar uno de sus botes?
¿Para qué?
I'd rather not say on the radio.
Prefiero no decir por radio.
Prefiero no decir por radio.
It would be very bad if these fishermen found out...
acá y hablaremos.
Gracias.
Doctor, I don't want my cousin to get into trouble.
So he's one of the
He
fishermen.
has a family. He only came here because there was no work on the mainland. There was money here.
You did the right thing. Really?
Here's something you may not know. People live in Galapagos too.
It's true, we do.
They do not show us in the travel brochures alongside the boobies and tortoises. But we are here all the same,
We are.
adapting, just like birds and reptiles.
Norwegians were the first to come.
Then the Belgians.
And Germans across the harbor.
Followed by the Ecuadorians.
Next came the scientists.
Then the tourists.
And now, at last,
Los Pepineros! Some of us were born here, but the rest come from the Amazon lowland.
The Andes Highlands.
The coast.
From Cuenca.
Quito.
Manta.
We come by the hundreds to dive for pepinos, to make some money, to fill the ships from Korea and Taiwan.
yes, there are people in Galapagos, and like the birds and reptiles,
We are not going away.
Feeling any better?
I got tired of throwing up in my cabin and thought I'd try throwing up out here instead.
It's a nice night for it.
Everyone said, wear a patch, the crossings are rough sometimes, but... well, should've. What do you think we'll find when we get there?
God knows. If they're bringing in food, they're probably introducing insects, maybe even rats.
Jesus.
And where do they defecate?
At least it's biodegradable.
Fine, but if a guy has tomatoes for lunch, the next day he crops a tomato plant on an island that doesn't know what that is.
Ugh.
Are you okay?
Yeah. No. Ugh.
What do you think of the plankton?
What?
The biolumin... Oh, never mind. You know, Darwin had terrible seasickness, months on end.
If only I found that comforting.
You care to freshen up?
Thank you. I don't know how this happened. I trained before I got here.
Trained.
Old trick of my mom's. Drink a glass of vodka, then spin on a tire swing and make yourself dizzy.
What happens?
You puke, but after that, you're supposed to be immune. You don't seem the least bit queasy.
Yes, well, I wear a patch. Malcolm has told me a lot about your mother. She sounds like a remarkable woman.
By the time she was my age, she had saved the Mauritius kestrel, helped found the Darwin Research Station, and come up with the idea for Earth Day. Oh, and had me, which for some strange reason she considered her greatest achievement.
Is your father still living?
I don't know. I never met him.
Do you know who he was?
She offered to tell me when I was 11, but I said that I didn't need to know, which was almost true at the time. I didn't want her to think that she was somehow insufficient. It's getting cold.
Well, here, take my jacket.
You don't want it?
I'm a hot-blooded Latin, huh? So why aren't you married?
You know, you're quite the nosy Parker.
What am I?
Why aren't you married?
Me.
Yeah, the hot-blooded Latin.
I am gay.
Oh, okay.
Does that surprise you?
Not particularly.
Why not?
To tell you the truth, I never thought about it.
Most people I tell are very surprised. I mean, this is not the United States where people just come out and tell you they are gay.
Isn't that what you just did?
Well, I thought maybe you were gay too.
No, I'm not, actually. I've just been busy. I ended a long-term thing about a year ago. Well, I didn't really end it. It just ended.
Meaning he ended it. Why? I'm just curious, like a good scientist.
He wanted a baby. I didn't.
And that was it?
Considering I was pregnant at the time, yeah.
Why didn't you want it?
I wanted to do important work.
Your mother did both.
Oh, I know.
Even called you her greatest achievement.
I know. We first came here when I was 5, so she could finish the research for her book. We would get up at dawn and work till it got too hot, putting chicks in a hat, banding them, measuring. I even started giving them names, good solid 5-year-old names, like Blackie and Brownie. We did this week after week until we measured them all and could head home. Notebooks full of numbers. 6 months later, we came back to check on them. I'll never forget it. Everywhere you looked, there were finches. Dead ones. Mummifying in the sun. There had been a drought, the worst ever measured here, and 6 out of 7 finches had died. You can imagine how I felt. I wanted to bury them all, have some kind of finchy funeral. But of course you can't bury things in lava. And so there they lay. I said to my mom, we can't just leave them there. And she said, of course not, dear. We have to count them. And that's what we did. Counted, weighed, measured beaks, took data. I thought it was heartless at the time, but later on I saw it was her way of honoring the dead by noticing.
You want to go back in?
Oh my God.
What?
Hi.
Haha, now you see it.
The ocean's glowing.
Bioluminescent plankton. It flashes when it's disturbed.
It's beautiful.
Wait till you flush your toilet in the dark. Let me tell you, better than fireworks.
Asastacopus fuscus, also known as
Sea cucumber.
Bêche de mer.
Pepino de mar.
Trepang.
the earthworm of the sea. It digs through muck, sucking up mud and breaking down nutrients that well up in the water. This feeds plankton, which nourishes filter feeders, sustaining little fish, then bigger fish, and up the food chain to boobies, cormorants, penguins, sharks. All thanks to this humble grub. Unfortunately, it also thickens soup, and has recently gained a reputation for giving another species erections. And so the gold rush begins.
Oh, Jesus. It's like a factory.
Buenas.
Buenas.
Somos representantes de la Estación Científica Charles Darwin. Recibimos reporte que habían pescadores cultivando pepinos de mar en las islas.
¿Y?
Parece que tienen una gran operación aquí.
Ask them if they know what they're doing is illegal.
Not yet.
Ese no es legal, tu sabes.
Doctora.
No legal. Por ley nacional y por internacional.
You want to get out of here in one piece?
They need to know what they're doing.
If they think we're here to arrest them, they're going to turn on us, okay? Between these guys and the ones on the boats, we are way outnumbered. So you can't ride in like Sheriff Whitehat coming to clean up Dodge. You got to take it easy.
Then what do you suggest we do?
Gather information, admire their work, look around. They're probably very proud of what they've built here. Mi esposa es una histérica.
What did he say, Gonzalo?
My wife is very excited.
Parece que les costó muchísimo trabajo construir esto. ¿Puedo tomar unas fotografías?
Sí, claro.
Count how many sea cucumbers fit on a rack.
¿Qué es eso allá?
Ahí es donde los servimos.
That's where they boil them.
Entonces los remojamos en agua súper salada para preservar la carne.
Sí. Then they soak them in salt water to preserve the meat.
I count about 160 per rack.
There must be 200 racks.
Chico, cántale tu canción.
No.
¿Canción?
Se me rompió una cuerda en la guitarra.
Mira, eso no sabía bien cuando tenía todas sus cuerdas.
They want him to play a song?
Apparently. ¿Qué canción quieren que toque?
Se llama Los Pepineros. Él la escribió. Se trata de nuestra profesión en el mar.
He wrote it about them.
Great, they've got a theme song.
1, 2, 3. Somos pepineros y no pedimos nada, guardándolo todo para hoy y mañana. Pepinero soy y no me compadezca.
Carlos, get the Navy on the radio and tell them to send a gunboat. I want these guys off the island by sunset.
Y no pedimos nada, guardándolo todo para hoy y mañana. Pepinero soy y no me compadezca.
One more time, these foreigners have turned the head of the Ecuadorian government, which again turns its back on the simple and honest fishermen. What right does this United States citizen have to throw a Galapagueño from his native soil? And what hope remains for a fisherman to earn a living by honest means when his own country betrays him?
Is la doctora here?
She's working in the library. Have you been listening?
No.
You should listen.
Neither this land nor this sea belongs to the scientists.
Buenas.
What's Mendoza ranting about today?
You?
Me?
People like you?
What do you mean, people like me?
He says you had no right to throw the Pepineros off their island.
Fernandina is not their island. It's part of the national park.
He says the new catch limits will put the fishermen out of business.
The catch limits protect... If the fishermen take a little each year, they can fish forever. If they clean the place out...
I'm only telling you what he says.
Were you able to fix my hairdryer?
No.
Oh, well, can I buy a new one in town?
I already did.
Oh, thank you. Where is it?
In the breeding center.
The breeding center.
A reliable source of heat, ah? They are cheap and easy to get. If a power surge comes...
We just replaced it. Brilliant. You're brilliant.
De nada.
Gonzalo, how is your cousin doing?
My cousin.
Since we shut down the fishery on Isabella.
I have not talked to him lately. All I know is he is not working.
You think he feels responsible?
He has betrayed his family.
If he had said nothing, he would have betrayed the research station.
The research station is not his family.
So, do you agree with Mendoza then?
You don't want my opinion.
Yes, I do.
I wonder sometimes how the gringos always get to decide who belongs here and who doesn't.
That's not what I'm doing.
Tourists can stay, but fishermen cannot. Tortoises are good, but goats have to go. Iguanas, fine, but not green lizards.
Anna.
On these islands, we are all immigrants, people and animals. No one was here when these islands were formed.
How many would be here now if it weren't for a gringo named Charles Darwin?
But who is Darwin to us?
Who's Darwin?
He's not a god like he is to you. We already have a god. To us, Charles Darwin is just another Englishman who came and took what he wanted and went home.
Look, I'm not trying to be some kind of ecological bouncer. The fact is, tortoises can't compete with goats.
Then let them evolve so they can survive better.
It's not that simple.
If iguanas can come here and learn how to swim, why can't the tortoises also adapt?
Well, they might, but only very slowly.
Then they should do it faster.
It's not a decision, we can change behaviors, but that doesn't change our physiology. If it did, after being circumcised for thousands of years, Jewish boys wouldn't grow foreskins anymore.
Foreskins?
No, not the number. It's part of the... Never mind. Evolution's a crapshoot. Trial and error.
If you say so.
Not because I say so, because it's true.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did no one ever explain this?
Why should people explain things? I'm just the secretary. You don't need to know that, dear.
You should know.
I know how to type. That's all that matters here.
I don't mean for your job. You should know because you're human.
It's too complicated.
No, it's simple. Really. That's what's beautiful about it.
I have to pee.
Hold on. How many kids in your family?
I don't have any kids.
I mean you, your brothers, your sisters. Are these them here in the picture?
Some of them.
So how many?
10.
Wow. So who's got the biggest nose? Simple question.
Javier, the oldest.
Who's got the smallest?
Why do you need to know?
Just go with me, all right?
Probably Cristina.
Okay. Who's got the straightest hair?
Ugh, Adriana.
Who's the smartest?
Me.
Of course. All right. When we made people tortoises, goats, sea cucumbers, our genes combine in surprising ways, creating endless variations. So in a family with 10 kids, Javier's nose is a little bigger. Christina's a little smaller. You're smarter, like that.
I really do have to pee.
Cross your legs. So most of the time, these little variations, say the size of your nose, don't make the difference between life and death, unless you're a family of land iguanas that happens to float here on a raft of vegetation. Food's a lot scarcer in Galapagos, so you have to nibble algae off rocks at low tide. But there's plenty of it, so everybody eats and mates until pretty soon there's 1,000 iguanas and everything is peachy. Then El Nino hits. Warm water kills off the algae at the surface, so 99% of you starve to death. This is where natural selection comes in. Darwin. Which iguanas survive? The one whose tail is a little bigger and discovers it can swim beneath the surface and get the algae the others can't. The one whose claws are a little sharper and nose a little shorter, allowing it to cling to the rocks and nibble closer. And when these survivors mate with each other, they make longer-tailed, shorter nose, sharper-clawed babies who do a little bit better than their parents did. And on for millennia, until, through trial and error, nature invents a marine iguana, perfectly adapted to its environment. That's evolution.
Can I pee now?
Did that make sense?
It made sense fine. I just have to pee.
You know, I think what you're doing is very brave, going through with having a baby. I couldn't do it.
That's what you think.
Well, I didn't. Anyway, I think you're brave.
Thank you.
This is too far up.
Why?
No, I saw the study. 68% of Americans think that God's an old man with a white beard.
Why not further down where the saltbush grows?
Although I'm personally flattered, the very idea seems utterly asinine.
I am surprised that we have not seen any yet.
Any what?
Tortoises brought back in previous years.
It is a very big island.
Where do you think we should release them?
This is too far. They would do better closer to the shoreline.
What's that smell?
No, this is the place. I remember that lava tube.
Carlos?
Yeah, this looks good. Over by the Muyoyos.
The Apuntias should give them a good start.
Okay, let's do it.
Woo! Welcome home, kids.
Oh, something really stinks.
It's coming from over there.
I feel like somebody should make a speech. Okay, me. Buena suerte, little tortoises. No more free lunches. From now on, you fend for yourself. Go! Find some thorny shrub to scuttle under. Eat cactus pads and get stocky, strong, and saddle-backed. Live out your century and make a few thousand more like you while you're at it. Go! Vanya con Dios! He looked a little dazed.
They've had a big trip. They all need a moment to recover.
I'll second that.
Maybe we should take a break before we head back down, have something to eat. Gonzalo?
I found them.
Found what?
The other tortoises.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Jackalone elephantopus.
Who? How did...
Machetes.
How could this happen?
I don't know.
The Galapagos giant tortoise.
It must have been a chancho negro.
This was not a chancho negro.
Chancho negro.
Black pig.
I know what the word means. What is it?
Sometimes people will come up to the highlands, kill a tortoise or two, and roast it.
One or two?
Like a churrasco.
There must be dozens.
Barbecue.
See, barbecue.
This was not a chancho negro. This was a message.
What do you mean?
They did not even take the meat. They have hacked off legs, cut out whatever inside parts they think they can sell. Everything else has been left to rot. This was somebody's way of saying, you don't let us take pepinos, then we will take tortoises.
How could this happen? How could this happen?
I don't know.
Then who the hell does? This is your country, your job.
Doctora.
Slaughtering endangered tortoises. Why are these people not in jail?
They said they would not do it again.
Let's go before I'm going to be sick.
No. First, we take data. Measure, count, document everything, even pieces. This isn't just going to disappear. Stop staring. We've got work to do. Gonzalo, measure. Carlos, take notes.
Number 47, female.
Number 47.
Everything starts out simple.
Curved length,
Number 14,
87 centimeters.
Curved length.
female.
Then the cell divides.
Curved width,
Shell split in 3 places.
The words multiply,
97 centimeters.
Curved width.
and everything gets complex.
pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
This is LA Theatre Works' production of Tooth and Claw by Michael Hollinger. Our story continues in Hour 2. I'm Susan Loewenberg, producing director of LA Theatre Works.